La prossima speaker è una speaker straordinaria, andate a vedere anche un suo TED Talk super, è la prima volta che viene a IAB, se non sbaglio è la prima volta proprio in Italia per un evento del genere, ci parla di un tema che interessa a tutti perché sono le possibilità infinite e i ritorni infiniti per il mondo del business, ha una lunghissima esperienza, diamole veramente un grandissimo benvenuto. È qui con noi Cindy Gallop. Hello Cindy, nice to have you here.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Especially when I heard the theme of this year's IAB Forum, because infinite possibilities has been my favorite phrase since I don't know when. It's what I believe all our lives should hold and all our work should hold. So I thought the most useful thing I could do for you would be to give you some advice on how to take all of these amazing things you're hearing about from the speakers here and turn them into action that will benefit you and your business. So I'm going to give you 3 key points of advice, and the good news is that these are things that you can start doing the moment you leave this conference hall today to completely change the course of your business, take advantage of infinite possibilities, and very importantly, make infinite returns, because I want to see all of you making a huge amount of money out of all of this. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to redesign the way that you do business. This is a business imperative in general, because no matter what industry each of you works in, it's a safe bet that all around you, you see the business syndrome I call collaborative competition. Collaborative competition is when everybody in a sector competes with everyone else in the sector by doing exactly the same thing everyone else in the sector is doing. Not a good idea. But just as importantly, you need to redesign the way you do business, because you cannot do New World Order business from an old world order place. All companies are old world order places because their systems and processes and structures are born of a time when the process used to be linear. So in my industry, advertising, for example, the way it used to work was, first of all, you shot the big TV commercial. Then you shot the matching print ads. Then you did everything else, including that fun little thing called a website. Today, everything's changed, but the systems and processes and structures still haven't. It doesn't matter how brilliant you think any of the speakers here are. It doesn't matter what inspirational thinking any of us spark in your brains. It doesn't matter what innovative, disruptive ideas any of you have as a result of anything we say. If you go back to the office tomorrow morning and you plug all that inspiration, all that brilliance, all that innovation and disruption back into the same old world order systems and processes, you'll get the same old world order crap out the other end. So, redesigning your business might sound difficult, but actually, guys, it's very simple. I get a lot of people coming to me for advice on career crises, midlife crises, business problems. And I always ask them to do the same 2 things. And interestingly, they're the same 2 things you should do, whether you're a person who's lost your way or whether you're a business who's lost your way. So number 1 is, identify what it is that you absolutely love doing. If you're in a job currently, be ruthless. Strike from the record everything you hate doing in your job and only focus in on what you love doing. And by the way, interestingly, when you do this exercise, you may find that what you love in your job is not necessarily numbers 1, 2, and 3 on your job description. So number 1, identify what it is that you absolutely love doing, and then number 2, identify the conditions under which you most love doing it. So you might go, I really love doing this. I particularly love it when I only do it between these hours. I love it when I do it working with these people or with these sorts of clients. Maybe you really love it when you only do it from this one location or these two locations. And then design an opportunity, a job, a venture around those two things, because then it never feels like work, because you're doing what you most love doing in the circumstances in which you most love doing it. That is what you redesign your business around. Identify what it is that you love as a business, the reason you were founded in the first place. Because companies lose sight of that over time. You know, companies go, oh, look, our competitors over there are doing this, we should do that too. Oh, look, they added one of those divisions, we should have one too. And over time, you morph into something very different, and that's how collaborative competition happens. So identify what you love as a business, and then identify the conditions in which you are at your best doing it. And when you redesign your business around those two things, interestingly, not only do you create happier working lives for you and your employees, it's also enormously cost-effective. You strip out whole layers of cost and overhead when you design around those two things. And then when you do that, I want you to bear one more thing in mind. There is a guaranteed formula for business success. There is a formula, and if you put it in place, it's guaranteed you'll be successful. It's a very simple formula. It goes like this. If you seek out, identify and hire and retain the very best talent people in the market, if you then give those people a really inspirational and compelling vision of what you want them to do for you and your business, if you then step right back and empower those people to achieve that vision any way they choose using their own individual skills and talents, if at the same time you demonstrate to those people how much you value them, not just through financial compensation, but verbally, vocally, every day, and if you enable those people to share in the profit they help create for you, you'll be successful. It's that simple. And virtually nobody does it. Virtually nobody puts that formula in place, because what that requires is a high-trust working environment. And all working environments are low trust. Because the very nature of today's corporate structure is that the hierarchy is based on the idea that the person at the top does not trust the people below, don't trust people, and it's one big cascade of low trust all the way to the bottom, just like a champagne fountain. And the reason that's bad is because today's business world demands a high-trust working environment. Today you have to be real-time responsive, flexible, agile, nimble, and you cannot do that when every tweet requires 7 layers of approval. So redesign your business to be a high-trust working environment. And then the second thing I want you to do when you redesign your business is redesign your business model. Redesign the way you make money. A lot of people think either this is our industry business model, this is the way our industry makes money, this is the only way we can make money, or they think there's a set number of business models out there and we have to use one of those. Neither is true. Your business model can be anything you want it to be. And a really good starting point is to ask yourself this question: how would I like to make money? Because it's a safe bet that you don't want to make money the way you're currently making it. In my world, advertising, making money via timesheets is a very bad idea, because that is not the value we deliver. So redesign your business model. And by the way, guys, I'm not one of those speakers who stands up here pontificating. Everything I talked to you about, I'm doing myself. I'm trying, experimenting, failing, trying again. So I designed my own business model. I believe the future of business is doing good and making money simultaneously. And so I believe the business model of the future is shared values plus shared action equals shared profit, financial profit and social profit. In other words, when brands and businesses come together with their consumers on the basis of values that you all share, which, by the way, is the most important requirement for a good relationship in life as much as business. You will never truly bond if you don't share the same values. And if you're then enabled to collectively and collaboratively co-act on those values, you can then together make things happen in the real world that will benefit consumers, benefit society, and benefit the brand and its business. This is the business model my startup, IfWeRanTheWorld, is designed to inculcate, because I believe that change happens from the bottom up, not the top down. And when you design your model around shared values, your people know how to act for the business at any given time without the standard hierarchy. It's also the model I designed my other startup around. And the third point I want to ask you to take action on means that I need to tell you about that startup. So I date younger men. They tend to be men in their 20s. And about 9 or 10 years ago, through dating younger men, I realized that I was encountering what happens when today's total freedom of access to hardcore pornography online meets our society's equally total reluctance to talk openly and honestly about sex, and results in porn becoming, by default, sex education in not a good way. So I decided to do something about this, and 8 years ago, I put up on no money a tiny, clunky website at MakeLoveNotPorn.com that posts the myths of hardcore porn and balances them with reality. The construct is porn world versus real world. I had the opportunity to launch Make Love Not Porn at TED, which I've been going to for a number of years. I am the only TED speaker to have uttered the words "come on my face" on the TED stage 6 times. The talk went viral instantly as a result, and it drove an extraordinary global response to my tiny website that I had never anticipated. And the response was so extraordinary that I saw an opportunity to do something, as I said, I believe in very strongly, to do good and make money simultaneously. I saw the opportunity for a big business solution to a huge untapped global social need. So what I decided to do was, Make Love Not Porn is not anti-porn because the issue isn't porn. The issue is that we don't talk about sex in the real world. If we did, amongst a whole host of other benefits, we would then be able to bring a real-world mindset to the viewing of what is simply artificial entertainment. Our tagline at Make Love Not Porn is pro-sex, pro-porn, pro-knowing the difference. And our mission is one thing only, which is to help make it easier to talk about sex. Talk about sex openly and honestly, publicly. By that I mean parents to kids, teachers to schools, everybody. And talk about sex openly and honestly, privately, in your intimate relationships. And so what I decided to do was to take every dynamic in social media and apply them to the one area no other social network will go, in order to socialize sex, and to make real-world sex and talking about it socially acceptable, and therefore ultimately just as socially shareable as anything else we share on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. So 4 years ago, my team and I launched MakeLoveNotPorn.tv, which is an entirely user-generated, crowdsourced video sharing platform that celebrates real-world sex. Anybody from anywhere in the world can submit to us videos of themselves having real-world sex, and we're very clear what we mean by this. We're not porn. We're not amateur. We're building a whole new category online that has never before existed, social sex. So our competition isn't porn, it's Facebook and YouTube, or rather it would be if Facebook and YouTube allowed sexual self-expression and self-identification, which they don't. So social sex videos of Make Love Not Porn are not about performing for the camera. They're just about doing what you do on every other social platform, capturing what goes on in the real world as it happens, in all its funny, messy, glorious, silly, wonderful humanness. We curate to make sure of that. And we have a revenue-sharing business model. We're part of the sharing economy, like Uber and Airbnb. You pay to rent and stream real-world sex videos, and then 50% of that income goes to our contributors, or as we call them, our Make Love Not Porn stars. Because we would like our Make Love Not Porn stars one day to be as famous as YouTube stars, for the same reasons: authenticity, realness, individuality, and we would like them to make just as much money. We want to hit the kind of critical mass where your video could hit 1 million rentals at $5 per rental, and we give you half that income. We are the answer to the economy, by the way. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because the one thing I didn't realize was that my team and I would fight a battle every day to build this business. Because every piece of business infrastructure any other startup can take for granted, we can't because the small print always says no adult content. Challengers getting funded, getting banked, putting payments in place. We had to build our entire video streaming, video sharing platform from scratch ourselves because existing streaming services won't stream adult content. And so I realized very early on that I was going to have to pave my own way. I have to break down the business barriers in my own path to scale MakeLoveNotPorn to be the billion-dollar venture I know it can be. And so I'm doing what I want to advise you to do, which is when you have a truly world-changing business, you have to change the world to fit it, not the other way around. I realized that I had to create the conditions for my own success. I like to say that I'm in the Steve Jobs business of reality distortion. If reality tells me I can't grow my startup the way I want to, I'm going to change reality. So 2 years ago, I began deliberately defining, pioneering, and championing my own category, sex tech. I wrote the post on sex tech. If you Google what is sex tech, I'm result number 1 on page number 1. And by the way, sex tech is any form of technology or tech venture designed to innovate, disrupt, and enhance in the area of human sexuality and human sexual experience. I talked to the tech world about the fact the next big thing in tech is disrupting sex because the social benefits and the financial returns are absolutely colossal. Sex tech is the next trillion-dollar industry. Nevertheless, I've struggled over the past 2 years to raise $2 million in funding for MakeLoveNotPorn, and so I realized I had to take it one step further. I not only have to pioneer and define my own category, I have to fund it. And so what I'm doing now is I'm raising $10 million to start the world's first ever sex tech fund and holding company incubator accelerator because nobody else is. I announced the name of my fund just a couple of weeks ago. It comes from a quote by Chairman Mao, who said famously about gender equality, "Women hold up half the sky." I think that's unambitious. My fund is called All the Sky Holdings. And that's deliberate because this fund will have a specific focus on sex tech ventures that are founded by women. The most innovative, disruptive things in sex tech today are coming from female founders. Women challenge the status quo because we are never it. We are finally owning our sexuality and find unique ways to leverage it because we understand the enormous market in women's needs, wants, and desires, historically deemed too shameful, embarrassing, and taboo to be addressed in business. And when you tap into that huge primary market, you also tap a huge secondary market of extremely happy men. So, the reason I'm telling you this is because I want all of you, when you redesign your business model to also redesign your playing field. I began this presentation talking about collaborative competition. I believe the future instead is competitive collaboration, by which I mean when all of us in a sector come together and collaborate in a way that we don't see currently to make things better for all of us on the premise of a rising tide floats all boats. That then allows each of us off the top of that wave to be uniquely competitive, leveraging our own individual skills and talents. I realized that in order to make my startup successful, I had to make the entire category successful. If I want to get my startup funded, I have to fund the entire category. And so be your own ecosystem, because IAB Forum is the most amazing place to make those connections, build those collaborations, and completely redesign your business playing field together. I want to end this presentation by sharing with you my favorite quote of all time from Alan Kay, who said, "In order to predict the future, you have to invent it." I am all about inventing the future. Too many people feel the future is something that happens without us, rolls us over in its wake. I'm all about decide what you want the future to be, and then make it happen. So I want every single one of you in this hall, the moment you leave this hall, your head full of these limitless possibilities that you've heard all these brilliant speakers talk about. Take all of that and use it to, number one, redesign the way you do business. Number two, redesign the way you make money. Number three, redesign the business world to fit you, not the other way around. And go out there and invent the future that you want to live in, that you want to work in, and that you want to succeed in. Because every single one of you sitting in this hall today can. Thank you very much.